Some nights, loneliness doesn't knock. It sits beside you quietly, breathing the same air, reminding you of everything you thought life would be by now. Daniel knew that feeling well. At 36, he had learned how to smile through it, how to pretend waiting didn't hurt. He had a stable job in Chicago, a small but tidy apartment, and a heart that still believed love would arrive someday. Just not tonight, apparently. That evening, Daniel stood at the bus stop under flickering streetlights, scrolling through messages that never came. The city moved fast around him, cars rushing by, strangers laughing, couples leaning into each other as if warmth could be borrowed. He told himself patience was a virtue, but patience felt a lot like being forgotten. That's when he noticed her. She sat on the cold bench a few feet away, clutching a thin jacket far too light for the winter wind. Her hair was messy, her hands trembling as she held a paper cup of coffee like it might disappear. A small boy leaned against her side, fast asleep, his shoes worn down at the heels. Daniel tried not to stare, but something about them pulled at him. He looked away, reminding himself not to assume. Still, when the wind cut harder, he saw her shield the boy with her own body. That's when something inside him shifted. "Excuse me," Daniel said softly, stepping closer. "Do you need help?" The woman looked up, startled. Her eyes were tired, beautiful, but weighed down by something heavier than exhaustion. "We're fine," she said quickly, the way people do when they're anything but. Daniel nodded. "Okay, It's really cold." Silence stretched between them. Then her shoulders sagged just a little. "My name's Maria," she said. "This is Leo." Daniel introduced himself. He didn't ask questions. Instead, he took off his scarf and held it out. For him. She hesitated, pride and necessity battling in her expression. Finally, she wrapped it around her son. "Thank you." The bus was late. Minutes passed, then more. The cold grew cruel. "I know this might sound strange," Daniel said carefully, "but there's a diner across the street. It's warm. You could wait there." Maria studied him, fear flickering behind her eyes. Life had taught her caution. But Leo stirred, coughing softly. And she made a choice she didn't want to make but had made many times before. Trust. Just enough to survive. Inside the diner, warmth wrapped around them. Daniel ordered soup without asking. Maria's eyes filled with tears she tried desperately to hide. "You don't have to do this," she whispered. "I know," Daniel replied. "That's why I want to." In that moment, Daniel realized something strange and unsettling. He had been waiting for love to save him. But tonight, love had shown up needing him instead. Over the next few days, Daniel couldn't stop thinking. About Maria and Leo, he told himself it was just concern, just basic human decency, but his heart knew better. When he offered to help them find a shelter that night, Maria finally told him the truth. She had left an abusive relationship with nothing but her son and a few clothes. Every door she knocked on felt heavier than the last. Daniel helped where he could. He made calls during lunch breaks, searched listings late into the night, and drove across the city after work. He didn't rescue them. He walked beside them. And somehow that mattered more. Maria wasn't weak. She was strong in a way that came from surviving storms no one should have to face. She laughed softly when Leo told stories. She apologized too much. She carried guilt like a second spine. One evening, after Leo fell asleep on Daniel's couch, Maria finally spoke the words she'd been holding back. "Why are you doing this?" Daniel thought about it for a long time. "Because once I prayed for someone to love me," he said. "I think this is God's answer. Just not the way I expected." Tears slid down Maria's cheeks. Not loud ones, quiet, grateful ones. Weeks passed. Maria found a temporary job. Leo started school. Daniel watched from the sidelines, afraid to hope for more. He didn't want to confuse kindness with expectation. He didn't want to make love transactional. Then one night, Maria didn't show up. No calls, no messages. Panic set in. Daniel drove the streets they'd once walked together. his chest tight with fear he hadn't given himself permission to feel. Hours later, he found her at the hospital. Leo lay in a small bed, pale and still. "He collapsed," Maria whispered, shaking. I didn't know who else to call. Daniel wrapped his arms around her, and she broke, completely this time. In that sterile room, surrounded by beeping machines and whispered prayers, Daniel understood the depth of what had grown between them. This wasn't romance born from convenience. This was love shaped by compassion, sacrifice, and shared vulnerability. Leo recovered. Life moved forward, but something had changed forever. Daniel stopped waiting for love to arrive perfectly packaged. He was living inside it, messy, demanding, and profoundly real. Spring arrived quietly, like hope does when it's earned. Maria signed the lease to a small apartment on the south side of the city. It wasn't much, but sunlight spilled through the windows, and Leo had his own bed for the first time in his life. Daniel helped carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs, pretending his heart wasn't aching. He told himself this was the goal, to help her stand on her own. Anything more would be selfish. When the last box was unpacked, Maria handed him a cup of coffee and sat beside him on the floor. "I need to tell you something," she said. Daniel braced himself. "I spent so long believing I was broken," Maria continued, "that I was only someone people used or left behind. You didn't fix me. You didn't save me. You just saw me, and that changed everything." She reached for his hand. "Somewhere along the way, I fell in love with you." Daniel laughed softly, tears filling his eyes. "I think I fell in love with you the moment you trusted me, and I was too scared to say it." Love didn't explode like fireworks. It settled like home. Months later, Daniel stood in the same diner where it had all begun, Leo laughing between them, Maria's hand warm in his. He realized something profound. God hadn't ignored his prayers for love. God had answered them in the most meaningful way possible. Love wasn't something he was meant to receive first. Love was something he was meant to give. And in giving it, he found everything he had been waiting for.